Edwin, what was the role that the HOS had in board meetings? What happened as a result of her presence during these meetings?
You step a little back, and when we did the CIS NIASC audit previous, not this one, the one before, one of the areas that were pointed out to us is that as an academic institution, you need to have the HOS as a very integral part of board meetings. Because what else do you discuss in the board other than what you have to do at school? And if at all you have things that she doesn't have to hear, we can ask her to leave. But largely you'll be discussing academic things that have to do with the school. It's important for her to be there. I think we all as a board bought into that. And therefore, that's how we brought that, though the bylaws do not require us to do that, we brought her into the board meeting from them. So from the very first day she's been in the school, she's been part of every board meeting. With an equal voice in every area of discussion, whatever it is. So she was as good as an 8th board member, but without a voting right. That was the only difference. And anyways, we didn't vote much. So she had say in almost everything that was discussed in the board, whether it had to do with infrastructure, it had to do with future investments, the vision for the school, academic areas that she wanted discussion, budgets, everything, every single thing was discussed with her as part of it.
Mm-hmm.
Right? Nobody has ever done that with the head of school before.
Right. So what happened? What happened as a result of her presence? So in hindsight, did you think this was the right thing to do?
I thought it was a good idea. I think it worked very well. I thought, it was a great way to interact with the head of school and integrate the running of the school with the governance of the school. But, it obvious that, intentions were not necessarily aligned.
What do you mean?
Well, they obviously had a different agenda on one side of the world, and the rest of the board had a different agenda, which was the good of the school and the future of the school. So
you're saying that the HOS was also working with Rishi Vijay from that point?
I don't have proof to say that.
Mm-hmm.
I have no proof to say that. There's nothing in evidence even today to say that.
Mm-hmm.
But if you look at everything together and corroborate it, well, there can only be two things. If Rishi and Vijay were conspiring against the board and the school, and they happened to be close to the head of school, then they were probably using both. They were using both the head of school and the board to reach their needs. Or the other option is that the three of them on one side and the board on the other side. So it'd be difficult to put a finger in, but only time will tell.
There are some rumors that Vijay and the HOS spent an inordinate amount of time together. Is that true, or is that just speculation?
Yeah, that's indeed true. And when she was confronted in the board, she said that she's spending all the time because she needed counseling.
That last part got cut off. Edwin, could you just repeat yourself, please?
That is indeed true. That is indeed true. And when she was confronted in the board as to how she's spending so much of time, she said that's because she was seeking counseling from the school regarding her children. So
I see. So this was what Vijay had to say?
Yes.
All right. Moving into something a little less dark, let us say. Could you please tell us what are the various achievements of this board?
Oh, if you're talking only about this board, all the way from 2019.
From 2019, because you've been chairman since then, and I'm assuming there must be some continuity.
If you look at 2019, the first thing is we brought the school out of a very dark space. And we did it without in any way hurting the reputation of the school.
Right.
Yeah. Number two, we did it without any of the noises we have today. We did it in such a beautiful way. Even when we had to get the people who were hurt the school to go out, it was done in such a dignified way.
So no fanfare, no drama.
No drama, no fanfare. We behaved like a caring community. The second is we strengthened the entire academic element of school. Look at the quality of teachers we have. They didn't come from thin air.
Can you elaborate? Can you elaborate on
all of the teachers? You look at all of the head of departments we have. Look at all of the new teachers we have. Where did they come from? Because we sold to them the vision of the school. We convinced them we need to come. Number three, we brought the compensation for the teachers to fair market value.
Very good.
Number four, We put systems and processes in place which govern the school. And that's why today you have an audit report, you can't find a fault, no matter how much people claim. Number 5, we've redone a big part of the infrastructure of the school. Everybody knows this.
Which parts particularly?
Oh, the classrooms, the early years areas, the playground. Do you know that we had a sewage system that empties into illegal places? We did the complete sewage and got everything regularized. We were completely non-compliant in so many ways as a school. We got all of those compliances done.
Excellent.
We didn't even have titles for our approach road for the school. We got it all done. We got a playground for the school. We got a parking area for the school. We've got new buses for the school, canteens in the school. We got audio systems redone. We got the computer systems redone. We put learning platforms in place. I mean, I could go on and on and on and on. You know, it's there for everyone to see what the school has become.
Fantastic.
Yeah, it's difficult to believe that a head of school is supposed to have come and in 6 months transform the school. Wow, that must be the fastest transformation mankind has seen.
Are you saying that's not true?
Of course it's not true. You don't transform any institution in 6 months. That's called a magic show. That's not an institution.
All right.
Yeah.
This is going into things that are more to do with Edwin Moses, the chairman of the board. How did everything since 24th February affect you and your personal life?
I think initially it was extremely disturbing. I think it ate into one's peace of mind. It saddened you. It hurt you standing in front of those teachers, the very teachers that we had nurtured, supported, enabled, the very teachers that you mentored, stood and humiliated the office of the chairman without any basis for the accusations. I think you reached a point where you said, you know what, man, has it really been worth 4 years of your life? And then, my son studies in school. He obviously hears things, but he's a very mature guy. He knew where the right was and where the wrong was, and we have an open family, so it didn't affect my children. To the best of my knowledge, I think the way they saw me handling things only increased his faith in his father. So all well. So I don't think whatever impact it's had in belief of people. Saying, is the world really that good? I think it is.
Right.
It makes you stop and think.
Right. So is this what led to you resigning? Is it because you were so upset and hurt that?
No, I resigned for 3 reasons. Number 1, I resigned because it was eating into my peace of mind. Number 2, in the context of all the WhatsApp messages and the acrimony, I knew that nobody was listening to me. You can't lead people unless they want to be led. So I realized I couldn't add any value at all. And 3, I believe that if I step down, somebody would find a better way to lead the board.
Right. The final question before we wrap up. What advice would you give the new members of the new board when it's constituted in a few days?
I think they need to sit down and introspect with the larger community and saying, what do we learn from all this? I think that introspection hasn't happened. All of you have to learn. And that learning has to happen. That learning has to then be fed back into the systems and processes and how we work. Second, I think healing has to be done. There are a lot of parents hurt. Divisions have been created. That healing has to happen like we did in 2019. I think, once again, the academic side of the school has to be rebuilt, and teachers have to be once again reassured that it's a school they'd love to work for and love to stay there.
Right.
And 4, I've already talked about the governance structures you want to rethink about, the kind of head of school you want to get into place, and then the way we should go and select and constitute our board itself needs a lot of rethinking. So there are many things that have to be done. But this, I think, in an overview, this would be what my advice would be.
Thank you for that. Finally, before we wrap up, is there anything that you want to tell the BIS parents at large?
No, just that I'm sad to see that we had to go through all of this. Like I said in my mail, in battles like this, we need to remember that there are no winners.
Mm,
There's only a loser, and that loser are our children.
correct.
As long as we remember that, maybe we'll be careful in the future.
But are you still hopeful about the concept of BIS that we can go back to, or, be, after many years, the caring, connected community? Or do you think, like someone told me today, that it's a very utopian concept given where we are as humanity, perhaps?
It's going to be a long crawl back.
Mm,
It takes decades to build culture. It takes moments to destroy it.
nicely said.
That's what it is. And that should answer the question.
Right. Edwin, thank you so much for taking this time, for actually putting your thoughts and your heart out there. I hope the parents of BIS will listen to you and pay attention to what you've said and keep it in mind as we go to the polls tomorrow. Thank you so very much.
Thank you so much, Bindu. Thank you for your time. Bye.
Bye-bye.